This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Happy Monday to you, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tim Melton, and this is Meltdown Live. We're here with you Monday through Friday, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern here in the Culver studio. You know the deal. As we introduce our cast of characters on this lovely Monday, including Emily Grace McWhorter, E.G. How are you doing? How was the weekend?
It was good. It was nice, restful. Hung out with the Sisks a lot. Had some friends in town, so it was a good weekend.
Yes, for those that don't know, that is Ush that she's referencing, because I think I may not be the only one that references him when you go over there as the Ushes.
The Ushes,
I call them the Ushes instead of the Sisks. I don't know why, but it just sounds like it works. Yeah. We've got Tyler Lionel Johns here. Tyler, how was the weekend, my man?
It was good. I caught up on a little bit of sleep, and I've been playing a lot of the Injustice mobile game. I don't know what it is, but like these the new DCU has just got me wanting to, get some figures and maybe go back and read some comics and play the games.
You're being influenced, Tyler.
I am being influenced, and I've seen some reports from comic book shop owners saying that they've seen more business this past month or so than they've seen in years.
The superhero landscape is best when both Marvel and DC are both at the top of their game. Right now, top 2 spots at the box office are taken up by Fantastic Four: First Steps. We're going to talk about the numbers here in a second. And Superman, the 2025 version, written by James Gunn. Same guy who did Scooby-Doo, by the way. Just reiterating that to you. I know that Scooby-Doo meant something to you, and Superman was something that you could tolerate on a lot of different levels. So just wanted to let you know there's the legacy of that.
I feel like Scooby-Doo was kind of like oddly dark for a kid's movie, so that kind of ties in.
I think so.
And there was an even darker cut originally that James Gunn wrote, and then he edited it and made it a kid's movie.
He would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you blasted kids, so works out.
Meddling kids.
I messed it up. I'm sorry. I'm not a Scooby-Doo stan like you guys are.
We really are. That's where me and Tyler, like our Venn diagram doesn't often the middle is stark, but Scooby-Doo's there.
Correct.
I saw a behind-the-scenes clip over the weekend. It popped up on my timeline because, naturally Superman's got James Gunn trending, and it was from the productions of Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, where Scooby interviews James Gunn.
I just would like to point out, I've ruined this segment because I was going to go with a prophetic, superhero fatigue at least has had a shot of adrenaline in the arm, and people are sort of buying in to both Marvel and DC yet again, and somehow it ended up just being Scooby-Doo talk. I think it's your fault, E.G., to be honest, because you being such a giant Scooby-Doo fan, I just was like, I'm going to give you this little nugget, we're going to move on, and then here we are, and all of a sudden it's going to become a 30-minute Scooby-Doo podcast. Which is fine.
There's probably a market for that.
I think there definitely is, 100%.
Oh, especially if you go into the production behind the Zombie Island movie.
Yep.
Man, it's wild. I can get into it one day.
We're not going to. Daniel said in the chat, saw both Fantastic Four and Superman on Friday. Pretty good.
Wow.
That's a heck of a double feature if you're going to do both of them, knock them all out at once. There's a lot of, I think, tonal overlap. Some people may say there's none. I don't know. But I think there is a lot of tonal overlap between the two. And Superman performed better in its opening week than Fantastic Four did, but I'm really not shocked by that because this was a fresh start for DC, and this is a continuation from Marvel that has, for the most part, minus Deadpool and Wolverine and maybe No Way Home, since Endgame, they've just been a lot more miss than hit. So the brand needed a sort of fresh coat of paint. And a lot of people think Fantastic Four is that. I think Fantastic Four is about as safe of a movie that I've seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not a bad movie. People think that I just absolutely despise it. What I despise, for the most part, is the fact that I don't like the Fantastic Four brand. I like the MCU. I like the MCU more than you, but you probably like Fantastic Four just a little bit more than I do. Tyler, even though I think we're around the same spot with it.
I guess slightly more. I guess the '05 version was something that came out when I was very young, and I always thought the Thing looked cool in that.
Yeah.
So
Played by Michael Chiklis.
Yeah. And so I guess that's what gravitated me more towards these characters than you, but they're not even in my top 20, top 25.
Yeah.
They might crack top 50 in Marvel characters for me.
Got it. I watched that movie as a teenager and despised it. Mine is Jessica Alba in it, which she was, but then you make her invisible. I'm like, what's the point? Anyway.
Well, they did do that whole gag with the dress.
Yes, they did. She was a standout there, but I didn't really like that movie very much, nor the sequel. And any Fantastic Four movie that's ever been made, I just find it to translate well in the comics. It's great in the comics, but I just cinematically it doesn't do anything for me. People may think I'm being blasphemous about this, but I liked Ben Affleck's Daredevil way more than anything Fantastic Four that I've seen. And I would probably, if I had the choice between Ben Affleck's Daredevil or this latest Fantastic Four movie, I'm probably going to watch Daredevil.
Okay,
just the nostalgia trip.
Daredevil was cool. That had like Evanescence on the soundtrack.
I mean, it's of its time for sure. And Colin Farrell, before he ended up reaching GOAT tier with his portrayal of the Penguin, his bullseye was something that was way over the top.
And Jennifer Garner's Elektra was there.
Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin. I mean, to me, I enjoyed that experience way more. And I've been, the biggest issue I have with this Fantastic Four movie is that the entire, am I just getting roasted in the chat? The marketplace is so oversaturated with these films. And I felt like this was just a perfectly fine base hit film. It's A-okay. Let's move on. It's just like how do we play it as safe as possible? Make something that works. And
how do we not ruin our brand more before Doomsday?
Yeah. I mean, how do we just deliver? How do we just get them on the screen and people will be like, okay, they're here. And that's what it was. But I've seen Hunter Bussey, 10 out of 10, absolute peak cinema, 5 out of 5. This is a perfect movie. This is top tier for me. In
the chat today, he is saying Fantastic Four, 10 out of 10 for me. Top 5 MCU movie for me. I wasn't a big Fantastic Four fan, and because of this movie, I am now. And then to your Daredevil comment, he says, OMG, Tim, stop it.
Oh, I didn't say Elektra. I said Daredevil. Daredevil, was like if I had said Elektra, take me out.
Oh, that movie is
take me out back, and I'm done. But yeah, no, the movie was fine. Especially if you've never seen a superhero movie before, I think Fantastic Four: First Steps is a great movie. Great movie. But if you've seen this thing before, it's fine.
He's gonna come up here and fight you.
No, okay. Well, let's see how that works. I'd love to know the Vegas odds on that. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the charts here. Because Fantastic Four: First Steps did make $118 million. I believe Superman was like at 124, 125, so it made a little bit more. But I also think that brought in some of those early Amazon previews into that total. So is it apples to apples or not? I don't know. But either way, they're pretty similar. I mean, I'm a DC person, first and foremost. I mean, Batman's my guy, but I'm a bigger Superman fan, way bigger Superman fan than Fantastic Four, obviously, if you've listened to the show the past 2 days. But I'm not going to sit on this show and be like, yeah, Superman dominated Fantastic Four. And for anybody that's carrying that narrative, it didn't, opening weekend at least. Now, I do believe Superman will make more money in the long run than Fantastic Four. Maybe I'm going to be wrong about that. We'll see. But it's pretty neck and neck. I mean, it's pretty comparable. I mean, there's nothing that really stands out as there's a decisive winner in this battle. If we were doing another one of our versus videos, it would be, a decision. It would be like a split decision type thing. I mean, like they're both performing well with critics. They're both performing well with general audiences. They're both seeing that the money come in that's pretty much on par with one another. I just don't understand. There are a lot of DC Superman fans that are just declaring ultimate victory, and I just don't see that right now, even though I prefer that film. So I'm going to call it like I see it. And Fantastic Four had a win this weekend. And Superman had a win not only its opening weekend and its second weekend, but it had a win in its third weekend. It still has yet to drop 60% or worse. And it passed the $500 million mark globally. It's continuing to set a foundation for a universe that, Tyler, that's the whole point of this movie. Like, there's a lot of detractors either that are, really clinging on to what took place with DC before James Gunn got a hold of it. And there's also those Marvel haters that want to see them having a full monopoly on superhero cinema. So there are people rooting against Superman for sure, but it has set a foundation that I think works in a lot of ways. But what I'm worried about is that while this white hot foundation is there, there's nothing to latch on to yet. I mean, Peacemaker season 2 is what they're pushing right now heavily, but it does skew way adult.
Yes.
And it's also a television product. It's just, to me, it's not, it's not enough.
It doesn't feel like enough of a companion piece.
Yeah. Supergirl is obviously final touches being put on that. The promotional campaign is just like continuing to roll out. But still, I mean, it looks like tonally it's going to be a tough sell to family audiences. You know, Supergirl goes on a binge and she's a murderous sort of revenge killer. And that's what I'm hearing. I mean, I don't know how that works with keeping sort of that foundation fresh. Lanterns, I think it
just finished filming.
The problem DC has had with getting Green Lantern over is a very similar problem that Marvel's had with getting Fantastic Four over, and that like it's never really quite worked. And then you have obviously the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds, who I had a friend tell me was like the best superhero movie he'd ever seen when we walked out, and I immediately, we have not spoken since.
Did you ask him how many other superhero movies they had seen?
I really was like, you think this is the best superhero movie that's ever come out? Like, and I'm trying to remember what year the Green Lantern movie came out.
That was like,
I'm
I want
gonna
to say it was 08.
08
That's
is my
when him and
guess.
Blake Lively fell in love
Well,
on that set, I think.
yeah,
And now look at them,
I know. Hollywood's power couple.
decimated.
Yeah. Well, their reputation, yes.
Sorry.
Their net worth still doing pretty good. But yeah, I'm just like, have you never, it was painful to hear that conversation.
I'd rather watch Batman and Robin
Right.
than Green Lantern.
Same, actually. But anyway, we won't talk about that. There's been a lot of painful conversation so far, and we're only 13 minutes in. I'm not wearing a watch. Anyway, I think that there's just not enough right now to get people super excited. Okay. And it all boils down to what the heck are you going to do with Batman from a DCU perspective? That's what everybody wants to know. That's what everybody's waiting for. Who's going to be cast? Is Andy Muschietti still like?
I haven't heard his name uttered in any of the trade papers or by James Gunn in months.
Yeah. The Flash was supposed to be like this huge, nice bow to put on the DCEU, and it was supposed to be epic superhero cinema. Tom Cruise, you did it. This is fantastic, and I am a huge Michael Keaton Batman fan, my favorite Batman of all time. And while I thought he was solid in it, I didn't love his character arc, and I really didn't love what they tried to do with in-gaming the DC properties in that big team-up sequence that looks ridiculous.
That might be the worst visual effects I've ever seen in a movie of that budget.
Yeah. And let's not forget, that's at the end of the movie. At the beginning, you get the falling babies, the Ally McBeal babies that are falling out of the window and like being put into microwaves and stuff. And it's like, and Batman is wearing like this blue suit, and it just doesn't look good on screen. Let's just be honest. It's a bad Batman. So, and it doesn't, Ben Affleck's Batman, people are like, he's the best. He's the baddest. His character's completely changed from what we got in Batman v Superman all the way to what we got in The Flash. Like, he turned into a punchline artist. But anyway, enough about that. The point I'm getting to is, I think the biggest misstep is they didn't want to get so far ahead. They wanted to make sure Superman was a solid hit. Well, mission accomplished on that. However, you've got to give people something to go to next. and you've got to give people something that they're just as excited about. And I'm not seeing that so far from the DCU. I'm not seeing that so far from this James Gunn takeover, and I'm worried about that. I do think there's going to be a lot of hype for the Batman Part 2, but that's a Matt Reeves project. It's very separate currently from what we've got going on with this. So while I have faith in James Gunn and I am remaining patient, I'm worried that they're losing a lot of that momentum that they've established.
Yeah, you need people to go watch Peacemaker because that's the only other live-action DCU thing you have out right now.
Did they ever decide if Blue Beetle was a part of the DCU or not? I mean, it really is like it was for a second.
Yeah, it was for a second, and then it was looking like maybe not. But then that guy who played Blue Beetle was like, yeah, I'm excited for the future, but there's also been nothing announced.
And it made no money.
Yeah, it made approximately no money.
So anyway, I think everyone's just a little bit confused. And the more people ask, the more confused they get of like what it is they're supposed to be consuming. And which is why I think, like you said, a lot of comic shops, a lot of maybe the source material that's already like planted out there. I mean, Man of Steel's numbers went through the roof on streaming because people didn't want to play the comparison game, but they also wanted something to go to, something else. Mm-hmm. The biggest mistake I think they made with this James Gunn Superman is not having a companion piece thing to go to. Because you don't have a prequel you can go to with this. It picks up right in the middle of the action. You don't have something you can immediately jump to right after. And it leaves people sort of feeling like they didn't get a full 3-course meal or something like that. They didn't get their appetite is not fulfilled.
I guess I keep wanting to draw the comparison of, well, this is like 2007's Iron Man for the DCU.
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
Thought it was 07.
You're good.
My bad. People weren't complaining, well, there's no immediate sequel or television series to go watch after Iron Man, so why are we thinking about that now? But the landscape is different, and people expect you to build out the universe across multiple series and movies. And Creature Commandos actually does have an appearance of Batman. But
it's true. It's animated. I mean, It's not that I personally also, I'm not a huge fan of animated stuff, minus Batman, the animated series, but it's always a tough sell when you try to cross-pollute that. Like, Marvel did it with the whole What If series.
Yeah.
And it just didn't, it just didn't really catch fire. Like, trying to cross animated and live action just very rarely works in a universe building sort of situation.
I agree. But I do have a list of official release dates we have for DCU projects. Supergirl is June 26th of next year. And then September 11th of next year is the Clayface movie, which has been described as like a total body horror, like strict R-rated.
Yeah.
So I think we'll enjoy that a lot. The premise I read sounded a lot like The Substance.
Family audiences matter in this superhero building world, and Peacemaker is a hard out for families.
Yes. Creature Commandos, that's super edgy, hard out.
Supergirl, once again, she's got blood on her hands in the poster. I don't know how else to put it.
I mean, I think it hits the PG-13 crowd.
Have you not heard John Wick is like a influence on this?
I have, but I don't think they're gonna go that hard.
Okay, but still,
there's no way.
Families, like. Our 9-year-old girl's going to go watch this movie. No. That's what they need for Supergirl. They need 9-year-old girls going, I want to be Supergirl. And this seems like a sorority pledge that didn't quite get picked up by anybody. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
Is that too intense of an analogy?
I'm getting like PTSD. I was recruitment chair, so I can and like give an analysis based on if I would have rushed Supergirl when we go see this.
Okay, well, let us know a year from now. And then, the Clayface movie, I've wanted Clayface on screen my entire life. Mm-hmm. It's always been a hope of mine. Family's going to see the Clayface hard R body horror movie. You got to do something for the family audiences in order to get this thing going. Marvel, love them or hate them, for the most part, they've always understood that assignment until they needed something like a Deadpool integrated in to give them that sort of, they needed to play a little bit to the hardcore comic book fan to come in there and give them some street cred, and they did that with Deadpool and Wolverine. But it's a pretty wide-ranging issue, but fantastic for first steps, about as safe of a superhero movie as you can have, ending up in the number 1 spot, and I expect it to hold there in the number 1 spot. we're going to go through what's currently in the top 10, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the new additions that are coming in this weekend, because I cannot, for the life of me, predict what the next weekend's box office is going to look like. I mean, it's going to be really insane because you're going to have a lot of holdovers like Fantastic Four in the first spot. You got Superman there in the second spot, dropping 57%, still bringing in around $25 million in its third weekend domestically. Jurassic World Rebirth, $13 million. The movie is an absolute turd, and it continues to generate tons of money. That's pretty much what
700 million globally.
It's a big, giant dino poop. And guess what? It's continuing to rake in money because for some reason, and I don't know how, it's the only movie that you can make with dinosaurs. It's got to be a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movie. I don't know why it doesn't have a competitor that can come in and like do something really fresh, because dinosaurs are not IP. Like, you can use dinosaurs in other movies. I'll never understand.
Is it just fear of being called a ripoff of Jurassic Park?
I mean, yes, I guess, but you're telling me there's not other shark movies? I mean, it's like, and every one of them gets called a ripoff of Jaws, and guess what? They make money. Like, give us another dino franchise, and I'm willing to go over to that team. Because, I mean, I can still love the original Jurassic Park, know that it's the most top-heavy franchise maybe in the history of cinema, and, like, join the other team and see what they can do with dinosaurs that make them a little bit more interesting, because I'm not liking what I'm seeing here with Jurassic World Rebirth. That movie sucked. I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
It was awful.
I mean, it's just dumb. I mean, the characters are dumb. The movie's dumb. The people who go see it, I was one of them, so I can't call them dumb. But we're all a little dumb for giving them all of our money. And for some reason, this thing that didn't care about its quality is going to make more money than the two things that are that we've been talking about for 20 minutes.
Now, I did see that Superman... to go back quickly to that, 500 million was Warner Brothers' number for it, to where they would consider it a success. Yeah. You know, or so they say now that it's crossed 500. Yeah. It doesn't make the movie technically profitable after marketing costs because it had a budget of 225, I believe. But I do think it's a relative success for how bad the DC brand was.
I agree with you on that, but I also think one thing we'll never know. It'll never be reported, and it could go either way. It could be like there's a huge loss taken on this movie, or it could end up pretty much making its money back with all of the commercial tie-ins, right? Mm-hmm. Like Wicked. I don't think Wicked became a $1 billion movie, but it was like an $800 million movie or something like that. Maybe it ended up more. I haven't checked Wicked in a long time. But with all the commercial tie-ins and stuff, that was a project that you could not avoid in any sector of our culture. I mean, it was everywhere. And that stuff makes the studio money. Mm-hmm. So these big IPs, something like Superman, has alternate revenue streams that we'll never know the financials on. So
buy those Fortnite skins.
There you go. So, you know, that's what makes this a little bit tough to talk about ultimate wins or not. I will say F1, the movie.
Yep.
Okay, a movie that probably is your favorite of the three that you've seen over the past couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
Totally 100%. Like
100%.
Your entire DNA profile meets this.
Yes.
F1 has crossed $500 million as well.
Cheers to them.
Worldwide.
Cheers.
So we're talking about F4 and F1. F1, it is a movie that Warner Brothers released and marketed on behalf of Apple. You have to think if you're Apple, you want to kind of stick with this partnership. Letting Warner Brothers do their thing, but also putting the money behind the production here. It has reached a domestic total of $165.6 million, but it has done so well overseas. There's been questions about Superman and its overseas appeal. Obviously, Jurassic World is always dependent on those international numbers.
You're telling me dinosaurs and F1 racing has more international appeal than an American dude?
That is correct.
Wow.
No matter how much they downplay that. But it is just a couple million ahead of where Superman is currently, F1, because it was obviously out earlier as well. But it's a big win for probably the most, from a technical side, like the most masterclass filmmaking we've seen from a technical side of filmmaking this entire year. I would argue Sinners needs to be in that conversation from a technical side and what was accomplished with the way that they shot that and the approach that was taken with those giant IMAX cameras and that on that set and everything. But yeah, F1, I'm happy for it. I am. Even though I think narratively it's safe. There's been a lot of safe cinema this summer, and it's because you had some things over the previous years that maybe took a swing and missed, and they just won't feel good stuff in the theaters right now, and you're getting a lot of it, a heavy dose of it. F1, feel-good movie. Superman, feel-good movie. Fantastic Four, feel-good movie.
Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. It was a good send-off.
Yes,
in a good theater movie.
Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, that was feel good at some points, and then
I just like to feel good.
Well, nobody's feeling good. They're all feeling relatively blue about the Smurfs because it's in its second weekend, dropped 51%. 10 days. Domestic, $22 million. 10-day
That's not
domestic total, $22 million.
but Rihanna is Smurfette.
Aw.
The Smurfs is a movie that you bring your kid in because you have run out of things to do and you need a break, and you may be able to get some Z's
Yeah.
while they sit there with their kids pack.
You're just
watching
looking for air conditioning and a cold drink.
Yeah. This one I need you to comment on more than anybody, Tyler, because you saw this movie, called it Slop. It's a movie you were looking forward to. I know what you did last summer. This movie dropped over 60% weekend over weekend.
Good.
Now, I have always had the mindset that nobody was asking for this movie. Like,
Correct.
I Know What You Did Last Summer is not a franchise that people have reverence for from a sense of, man, I hope they continue those stories. Like, it was that one movie in the late 90s that brought in a bunch of young actors who now haven't really been in anything in a long time. And no one was asking for this. So what it had to do was be really good.
Yeah.
And you're telling me it was actually the opposite. It was really bad, really generic, really meaningless. And that word spread quick. So what happens with a movie like this compared to, I don't know, a Final Destination Bloodlines? Because I think that the two are comparable
Yes.
in what it is that they were trying to achieve. Final Destination Bloodlines blows it out of the water. I mean, overperforms by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of Final Destination. I'm not a fan of I Know What You Did Last Summer. But I loved Final Destination Bloodlines. I'm not even seeing I Know What You Did Last Summer based on the word of mouth of people that I trust going like, this thing is just a complete waste of time. I mean, like, maybe catch it streaming somewhere or...
I wouldn't even say that.
Yeah.
It is the epitome of a pointless legacy sequel. You introduce a new cast of characters that aren't interesting or likable in any real way, and then through various just sort of screenwriter says so moments, you meet up with the original cast, and you go, oh, I remember them.
Sort of.
Yeah, kind of. I remember that movie from the late 90s. That was a real flash in the pan because of just good casting.
Yeah.
And then from then on out, it's just generic as generic can be. I'll spoil it even.
You don't have to.
Okay.
You don't. There may be one person out there that's like, I booked my ticket today for a 4:00, and I'd rather not know.
It's one of those stereotypical horror movie endings that you can see from a mile away.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'll tell you, a year from now, people will be going, I know what you didn't do last summer. That was go see this movie, because I'm not going to see it.
The kills weren't even good either. There's no reason to go watch this.
Okay. That's all I need to hear. How to Train Your Dragon there at the number 7 spot, making about $2 million, $3 million actually. It's performing well in comparison to something like Elio, whatever. It's finally dropped out of the top 10. It has even made $71 million, which feels like an incredibly low number for Pixar domestically. But if you compare it to the Smurfs, Elio looks like a whole lot better story. Because, like, I think what we're figuring out, and I know I've been making the pitch for, like, families need to get invested in the DCU for it to work and all that stuff. But, like, families used to be a consistent box office number. You put out some type of kid-friendly cartoon or something, it's going to make really good money. There's so many options now, and kids have become so accustomed to not watching things on the big screen, so accustomed to tablets, so accustomed to watching things on Disney Plus, so accustomed to not having to go out to consume content because there's a constant stream of it, even on YouTube, right? Like, those are no longer safe bets at the movies, family films. And it has to be really good. It has to be a moment. It has to be something where kids are talking about it actively, like they're excited about it. Like, there were more kids from what I saw in my purview that were excited about Beetlejuice
Oh, wow.
than Elio or anything like that because of the way that they were sort of like intrigued by the visual of that. Like
Okay.
it spurned the imagination and it got them going like, oh man, and they were playing Beetlejuice on the playground and they were talking about it. And I'm like, you know, while none of them went to go see the movie probably, it at least was a part of their zeitgeist. I've heard no kids talking about Elio or Elio or the Smurfs this summer. And that's related in the box office here. I mean, they do not care about these things. So there we go. Eddington, the number 8 spot. This is a movie that I want to see, but it is one I've got to carve out the right commitment for because it is basically a 3-hour process. Oof. And you've got to take yourself back to those COVID times, which who wants to like actively go to that place? So it's a tough sell, and it has been a tough sell at the box office. You're not shocked by this?
I'm not shocked at all by this. Most people, regardless of whatever side of the aisle you're on, just don't want to think about those years and all of the conflict that happened, the loss. Nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody just wants to move on to normalcy. So I think that's reflected in the box office, and so its success that it is seeing is due to the cult following of Ari Aster and A24 in general.
Yeah, he really, his reputation for being able to sell tickets has gone into a little bit of a reverse slide here over the past few films. And he's not going to be able to get away with doing anything he wants on screen if he doesn't somehow justify that with its commercial success.
Yeah, because when you look at something like Hereditary or Midsummer, much safer options at the box office. You've got a horror movie about a cult and a horror movie about a cult in a different area of the world.
Yeah.
Those always work. And then with Beau is Afraid, how do I describe this movie?
You can't. I've tried for years, and you can't. You can't.
I was about to say like what the movie was, and I don't have words.
It is the most memorable bad movie I've ever seen. Like, I don't enjoy it at all, but I have thought about it multiple times. I mean, it's just I can't stop thinking about Beau is Afraid, and it comes up in conversation all the time because I'm like, it left me bewildered. Yes. I'm walking out. I didn't even know how to conversate about it. Like, there's very few movies where, like, you walk out and you don't even know what to say. And you want to talk about a bad first date movie? I mean, like, I can see that being like, well, I was interested in him, but he took me to this movie called Beau is Afraid. And, I'm no longer seeing this person. So, I mean, like, there was no second date probably.
Yeah, a worse first date, though, is you go in blind to Beau is Afraid with this girl on the first date, and she likes Beau is Afraid.
That is also terrifying. And she's like, can we please go see it again in 3D? And it's like, okay.
No.
Anyway.
No, thank you.
Beau is Afraid. We are all
Afraid.
confused and afraid after having seen that movie.
Eddington, I think, is much better, though. The first hour to hour and a half is really solid. Like, I think some of the best Ari Aster, in my opinion. And then with the rest of the movie, he Ari Asters it. But, you know, the hour to hour and a half waypoint feels a lot like No Country for Old Men, a little bit.
There are people that will defend Ari Aster to the death that only really want to watch Midsummer 50 times a year streaming, you know, like that are like, he's a genius, but they only want to watch one of his movies over and over and over and over and over again instead of actually going out and seeing something like Eddington. So how long till we get like a Midsummer 2, or how long until we get a Hereditary 2, or something where he's having to cash in on what used to be his calling card?
Oh, I hope not. Midsummer was the most overhyped movie I've ever seen. I rewatched it multiple times to find out the hype for it.
Yeah.
And, I know why they call it Midsummer.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Nice.
It's a Pinterest board come to life is what it is.
yes. Yes.
Oh Hi, which I wish was followed up by Mark there at the number 9 spot. What is Oh Hi? Do you know?
Called Oh Hi.
Yeah, it's called Oh Hi.
I hate that.
And it's got Logan Lerman and somebody else in it. And it's described as a comedic version of, like, Misery.
Oh.
Okay.
So, I'm done. I don't want any dark comedy. I've seen enough bad ones.
Yeah.
So I'm scared.
Not selling me on this, but it ended up at the number 9 spot, making more than Elio. And Elio was in more theaters. You have The Home at number 10. This is the Pete Davidson movie.
Yeah, it was the Scream Unseen last week, and when I found out it was the Scream Unseen, I went, ha, nope, and I haven't seen it.
Pete Davidson is the most famous person in our culture that has generated little to no actual revenue.
Really?
Yeah, I believe it.
Meaning,
Do you mean just at the box office or in general?
I'm talking about in general. I mean, just like he was on SNL, obviously,
Yeah.
right? But it's like an ensemble thing where
Where people are
He's a-
notoriously underpaid.
he's a big part of that ensemble, but it's not like he can get credited with bringing in a large amount of money. You know, I mean, he's part of that ensemble. His movies that he's been in, like none of them have been commercially successful. I mean, none of them.
I thought King of Staten Island was pretty good, if you don't mind Pete Davidson just
Yeah.
being, irresponsible and a loser for the whole movie.
Yeah, that was his train wreck, right? With
Yeah.
Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer couldn't follow it up with an actual like hit. He that was his launching pad.
And then he tried something similar, but in a series form for Peacock, I want to say.
Yeah.
It was a show with Joe Pesci called Bupkis, and it was basically like an autobiographical
Sure.
sort of comedy
Sounds great.
story. It got canceled after the first season.
The commercial side, like he's generated like no one's paid money to go see Pete Davidson. Like over and over and over again. However, he's like in all these commercials selling us stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's fascinating. Like, I think Pete Davidson, I'm not saying he's not talented. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, he's the most in your face celebrity. Like, he's just pushed out over and over and over again. And, like, what's going on in his personal life is always, like, top of the news page. You know, it's on TMZ and it's everywhere. And it's like, but he has no track record of actually having been successful in monetarily with people wanting to pay to see him or pay to support him or like, I don't know. It's weird. It's just
Yeah.
weird to me. It's like he gets a lot of clicks maybe, but he doesn't get a lot of tickets.
Yeah, I would say like you said, all the interest that comes to Pete Davidson stems from his personal life, who he's dating, who he's not dating,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff, rather than anything he actually does in the comedy world or in the acting world. I know him more for peddling Axe body spray these days.
Yeah. I mean, he's like America's #1 salesman. He's all over the place,
Oh yeah,
but he can't sell himself. That's the thing that's weird to me. That's strange. Anyway, tell me I'm wrong. Elio there at the number 11 spot. We won't,
I guess The Suicide Squad would have been the best thing he's been in.
and
But
it made no money.
Oh yeah, that's true. It didn't-
Because it came out
in that COVID year
COVID
with
era.
that HBO Max release and the theater release at the same time.
Yeah. And once again, he's in it for like 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah,
he's not even in it very long. He was a big part of the promotional tool for it, but he wasn't like even hardly in the movie either.
Promoting it.
Yeah. I mean, but
Can't sell.
and I think the Suicide Squad is the best DCEU movie made. I think it is the best one.
well, it's technically DCU now.
Yes and no.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like it's a hybrid, right? We're going to pick some things and then other things like, you know.
supposedly Peacemaker Season 2 is supposed to explore the multiverse of DC, but James Gunn said they're going to be very careful on how they do multiverse stuff, and it'll be used more to show the destruction of the DCEU and transition into this DCU.
Is Harley Quinn, is Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn part of the DCU?
God, I hope not.
Well, I mean, she's part of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, once again, I'm telling you, there is no...
Oh, speaking of Harley Quinn, I forgot. This was going to be a tidbit for this week. Your boy, Zach Kreger, has turned in a Joker and Harley Quinn script to James Gunn.
All right, let's get Jared Leto on the phone. We got to get him back. I was looking for Joker merchandise over the weekend. There are like 4 things I collect. One is Batman stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One is records. One's playing cards. And the 4th one is movies. Okay, so those 4 things. I was looking for Joker merchandise this weekend, and I found something that I'm really excited about. Really like it. Great deal on it, so I'm excited.
Did you get that Prime 1 studio statue of him falling into Ace Chemicals?
No, but it's on my bucket list. If I ever make it as a tight end of the New England Patriots, that's the first thing I'm purchasing.
Oh, yeah.
But, no, I was looking, and I'm telling you, the Jared Leto stuff, I mean, I could get it real cheap, and I don't want it. The Ben Affleck Batman stuff, I could get real cheap. Didn't want any of it. Like,
when I was at 2nd and Charles, I was looking for a nice little Nightwing figure to put right here, or a Tim Drake Robin, or a Damian Wayne Robin, whatever. But they had just so much Justice League and Batman v Superman figures. Like,
can't get rid of them.
You can't get rid of them, and
yeah,
they're basically giving them away over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a testament to sort of what we've been talking about here, but you know, change is inevitable, and that is where we're at. Change is inevitable. And hey, who knows, maybe you need to change your dentist. I had to, and it's never easy to go to a new era of dentistry, but I'm telling you, the place to go is Alabama Dental Associates. They're located on Grants Mill Road. That's Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, and Dr. Nolan over at Alabama Dental. We may be having a Dr. Brian appearance tonight, E.G.
Yay.
So be prepared for that. They provide all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health. So go ahead and open wide. Smile bright, knowing that you've got the best team in town. They're an Alabama Dental Associates. If you're new in town, need to make sure you have a dentist on standby. Reach out and try them for yourself. We appreciate you being here in Central Alabama, and they're going to appreciate you there at Alabama Dental Associates. For more information or to make an appointment, call them 205-956-8977 or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. Also falling out of the top 10 for the first time 28 years later. This is a movie that is winding down its theatrical run. $150 million worldwide. How do you think this sets up for Bone Temple, which comes out in just a few months?
I mean, narratively, it sets it up. Financially, no. That's... Maybe Bone Temple's release hurt the box office for this one. But I feel like there was way more hype for this one than anything that could potentially come after. So I feel like it's a bit of a failure.
Well, I don't feel like it's a failure. And I would love to know the production budget on 28 Years Later, because I would think that it's not like crazy. I would think based on what we saw on screen, especially with them shooting with like iPhones, even though they were rigs and it was special stuff, but I mean like
60 million.
Yeah.
So not much at all. So
profitable though.
Yeah, made a profit.
Depending on how much they spent to market it.
That's true.
But also like they are counting on, they're going to have this movie out in October for you to watch at home. People are going to get hooked on it, or they're going to at least want to consume it because it is sort of like the Halloween season, all this stuff. It's one of the newer things you can stream, and that's going to do a lot of goodwill for when Bone Temple releases at the beginning of 2026. So we'll see if that play works. I'm personally very excited for Bone Temple. I love 28 Years Later. It's one of my favorite movies of the summer. And I am genuinely hoping that it sort of pays off and Bone Temple doesn't suck. That's my hope. But 28 Years Later there at the number 13 spot. There are a lot of people, though, that once again just were not satisfied with where 28 Years Later went and felt like it ended on the most jarring of notes. And to me, that sort of adds a lot of character to the film. But it is a very divisive moment. And for a a summer season that has had so many movies that played it safe. I think 28 years later, like, took a big swing. And for me, it hit. But for a lot of people, it was like, what did we just watch?
Yeah, most zombie movies don't have the Power Rangers at the end.
Yeah, they were even more like Teletubbies to me. They were like, it was more like a Teletubby thing. Like, it felt like a callback to how the movie sort of opens up there. But
I mean, I guess, but the Teletubbies don't fight.
in my world, they do. Okay. There we go. Those are our Tinky Winkies for the day. And we are going to call it. That's
Okay.
going to be it for the Meltdown. EG, poker tonight, what are the expectations?
I'm so excited.
Okay.
That's all I'm telling you.
That's all you're saying. Keeping it close to the vest.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm intimidated.
You just wait until the flop comes out on the river.
Shut up, Tyler.
I have made a commitment that I'm going to be a much more humble poker player.
I
And
just don't.
I'm pressing X to doubt.
okay, well, you guys can doubt me all you want, but it's a new philosophy, and I plan to
Okay.
let it take shape, and it will shape the rest of my season as I look to get back up there and win my 4th poker season. I've won 3 before. It's a wonderful feeling winning your first there, EG, and maybe this is your season. If I wasn't now I'm doing the thing again where I start talking about how great I am.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that I'm going to let my play speak for itself. I'm not going to do anything to
No, totally.
promote my game. I'm just simply going to
Play the game.
When the king speaks, you'll all know. All you peasants.
That's the vibe I'm getting.
I'm retiring the king gimmick
you're
here.
not.
I'm retiring it.
So what happens when you have King 9 and it comes out King 9-9 on the flop?
I'm going to bite my tongue until it bleeds because you know that I'm going to want to say something. King 9 is my favorite hand, and whenever a king and a 9 come out on the flop, which is almost like, every 3 hands, I always say King 9's good here, and people roll their eyes at the poker table.
We
But
do.
I'm not going to yell the king is back. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I am going to play it cool. So
Okay.
that is my commitment to all of you. So we appreciate you being a loyal member of this kingdom that we call Meldonia. And we will see you again tomorrow, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Go visit our title sponsor. That's MyBookie at mybookie.ag. You can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. They're at mybookie.ag. Use promo code NEXTROUND for that first-time deposit bonus at mybookie.ag. We'll see you again very soon.